Perfect.
monster. Okay.
Oh my gosh, well, we have made it to 10 episodes. Can you believe it? Can our viewers believe it? And no rude comments, because we're getting better and better, sort of, maybe.
Yeah, we're getting better.
We can't get worse.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think we could get worse.
Hey, this is we are doing a very Gen X thing here. We're just going with it. You don't know what you're doing, you just go. Also, to celebrate our 10th episode, 10th anniversary episode, we are going to have a drawing that you can enter. But you do have to participate. So we need you to tell us 3 different things that Vinny made with aluminum for me during this podcast. Three different things, shapes that were made. Email it to genhexmedia70@gmail.com. We're going to put that down in the link below. Email the 3 different things and you automatically go into a drawing to win
a really cool box I will make you that's going to have some wax melt samples. I will send you a very nice candle and just some fun little goodies. But in the email, you will have to give us your address so that I can send it to you. I do have an actual shop, so I'm not going to like just show up at your house or something. It's actually going to be like, you'll get a nice care package if you win of wax melts and a candle and some other fun stuff I'll find for you. But you have to email us 3 different things that I have made for Kathy during this video. Has to be something I made out of aluminum foil.
in celebration of 10 episodes, our 10th anniversary.
Anniversary, and I'll send you really good stuff if you win. So if a lot of you have the same answers, or a lot of you come up with 3 different things, we'll put you in a drawing. And then on the next time we have another podcast, we'll do the drawing and tell you who the winner is. Oh, crap. I just forgot something so important for our anniversary. It's going to take a minute. I've got to run and grab it out of the kitchen. Okay. This is for you. Super important because I looked this up. So,
okay.
Talk to the people. I'll be right back.
Is this a lie?
Let me try not to knock everything over because this is going to be precarious. Okay.
Since this is our episode, since this is our lying episode, you're not lying to me, are you?
No, this is for real. For our 10th anniversary. You can enjoy my astronaut.
Okay.
If it falls over and hits the wall, sorry. Oh, crap.
And I can't believe we've made it to 10 episodes. 10. He's back.
I ain't back yet. What a mess. There's candy wrappers everywhere.
What is the 10th anniversary? Is that paper?
I'm getting ready to show you. I'm getting ready to show you what it is.
Okay, wait. Let me take a drink first in case I choke. Okay, I'm ready.
That was a lot of work. Okay.
It really was a lot of work.
I actually forgot because I was going to make it into a really cute shape like a duck or something. So I apologize. Okay, you ready for your 10th anniversary gift?
Yes.
It's aluminum foil.
Is it a moon rock?
No.
Is that why you had me look at the astronaut?
It's just aluminum because aluminum is the 10th anniversary gift. You're supposed to have aluminum.
Oh, and I feel so bad I didn't ball up any aluminum.
That was the last piece I had in my kitchen.
Oh my gosh.
Floor. I gave you my last piece of aluminum, Kathy.
I appreciate it.
We only get one 10th anniversary.
And now I just feel like I've totally dropped the aluminum ball.
Missy said I'm supposed to make you a duck. But
look at that. How easily you did that.
That's not bad. There we go.
That's pretty good. It might be the Loch Ness Monster. I like that even better. Yeah, Loch Ness Monster.
There's a lot. There you go.
Perfect. You got to work out. Thank you very much. I did not appreciate that nearly enough, especially since, honestly, it's the gift that keeps giving because it can just be moved around into
I can just keep changing the shape for you.
You can.
Periodically.
I can't believe it didn't start as a banana. It is a banana.
There's your banana. This is a family friendly show. There's a banana.
That could have been our punk band. We could have been the Aluminum Bananas.
We still can be the Aluminum Banana. What are you talking about? I mean, we are dressed for our. See, we're dressed for the band.
We are. I have on my Regal Beagle T-shirt, which also has a crown.
Well, there you go. And I've got the capybara.
Sadly, people at work did not have any idea what the Regal Beagle was, and that makes me very, very upset.
Don't you work with people that are like boomers?
Actually, no. I work mostly with millennials and Gen Z.
Really? And they didn't know what it was? Actually, boomers should know too.
I'm one of the older, I mean, there's the residents, so we got that. But then it's like, to be fair, they always tell me they forget that I'm old. Maybe they're just being kind, but maybe they are telling me lies.
Lies, you say?
Which is what we're talking about on this episode. Look how we just segued right into that.
We did. We segued. We always segue. Lies.
So what was a lie that you were told by parents or adults? And it usually was parents and adults. It wasn't even other kids.
No, it was your parents. I mean, because you'd swear and you'd tell your friends, it's true because my dad told me or my mom told me. Mm-hmm. Some of these I had to look up because I had suspicions and they weren't true. I still believe it.
Well, here's the one that I found really interesting because I think I've even said it to my daughter. I didn't give a time limit, but I did do you should wait before you go swimming after you eat.
Yes. It was supposed to be like an hour or 30 minutes before you can swim after you eat.
And what was it? What's 30 minutes going to do? Now it's fully digesting.
Well, especially so you don't get cramps. But how are you going to get like a leg cramp because your food hasn't digested? You might throw up. But why are you going to get a leg cramp?
Well, and also you'd have to how long does it take you to digest a meal? You'd have to fast before you could swim.
Plus, when you're a kid, what are you eating? Like goldfish and, those little Lunchables? I don't think there's a lot to digest there. So
no. So I totally heard that. And I grew up spending my summers on a lake. It's not like we really actually paid attention, but we still heard it.
There was one I used to hear all the time, and I remember telling my oldest kid this, but I didn't tell my teenager, luckily, that, see if we can, that your, wrong hand, your blood's blue till the oxygen hits it. Have you ever heard that one?
I've heard that one.
And you look, and it's just like, there's evidence. It's blue. Your veins, they're blue. And then why is it they're not red? And then you cut yourself, and all of a sudden, the blood's red.
But why are your veins blue? This is something
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know either. But yes, I have definitely. I don't know that I ever believed that one, but I know I've heard it.
I believed it.
Okay, so did you believe the bubble gum one? That was a big one. You swallow gum.
And I used to swallow my bubble gum all the time. And I would, depending on what age I was like, wow, that's not gonna come out till I'm like an adult. Because it's supposed to be 7 years.
And how did we all hear 7? 7 years. Did you take that? You must have done the same thing. I would just take the risk.
Oh,
I'd be like, I'm probably gonna die, but I'm swallowing it.
I always swallowed my gum. Always.
You're lucky to be here.
It's amazing that we just don't have a big ball of gum in our stomach. Like we didn't notice when it came out.
That is really the thing. How come our parents didn't understand digestive tracts?
I don't understand why they told us that.
I mean,
Some make sense why they would try to tell us a lie because it benefited them. But how does it benefit them for us to not swallow our gum? Why do they care? It's just
In fact, it makes more sense than like sticking it somewhere.
exactly. It comes out. It's not going to stay in there. It's not like it hurts anything. It comes out.
Okay, so this was one I did not. It happened to pop up, and I had not heard the cause. I have heard a portion of it, but it was if you eat too much sugar, you'll get worms. I never heard the sugar part, but I definitely heard that, like, from meat, you would get worms.
I know they said if you ate
Undercooked.
raw meat, but undercooked meat, but also if you walked barefoot, you were going to get ringworm. I always went barefoot. I've never
Me
had
too.
ringworm. It was, I mean, I understand if there's certain parasites, you know, in certain parts of the world, especially around certain bodies of water, but who doesn't go barefoot, especially as a kid? Ringworm.
Well, and did you ever? I want to say it was in junior high. We watched some kind of a movie about elephantitis, and that you could get it from being barefoot, and you'd get like the big swollen club foot type thing. And I remember living in fear of somehow, and I think you got it from like a tsetse fly or something, but I'm thinking in Maine, I'm going to be walking around barefoot and suddenly I'm going to have this horrible deformity. And
every state, I still got the same warning. Don't go barefooted. You're going to get ringworm in every state during every season because I always went barefoot. But
well, and I actually looked up how common it is to get worms from raw meat. And it really is primarily pork with trichinosis. But everything else is like salmonella and
yeah, you
E.
just
coli.
something else. So the
You're
worm
getting
won't
bacteria.
Get the bacteria.
Not a worm. But going to that, were you told that if you went out with wet hair, you would get sick?
Pneumonia, usually they would
pneumonia. I researched. I was like, I bet that was a lie. I bet that was a lie. And you know what? It was a lie.
I know it was a lie because there was a time in North Carolina, it was winter, and I had to go, I had an appointment at my chiropractor. I was running late. I've always had a lot of hair. My hair, I had just got out of the shower. My hair was wet. By the time I drove to the chiropractor, you could literally hear the ice crunching in my hair. It was frozen. I did not get sick.
No. Here's the interesting twist. You will not get it from cold. You have to have some kind of bacteria or virus nearby to get it. But we all heard or if you went outside without a coat, you're going to get sick.
You're going to get a cold.
Yep. Well, my parents definitely told me that one.
I think the one with having the interior light on of the car is like notorious for everyone's parents. They always told us it was illegal. The cops would stop us. You could not turn on the light at night.
100%. I still have like a phobia of it. Like,
yeah,
I should turn off the light. Like, yes.
I don't know if it was just because they couldn't see good or they didn't want the cops to notice them with their kids fighting in the back seat. What? It's like,
they couldn't. Yeah, you absolutely could not. I remember that vividly. You had to if you turned it on to find something, it had to immediately go back off. And I was also told by my parents that you couldn't drive with bare feet.
I heard that too.
Yeah, is that true? That's
a lie.
Gotta be a lie. I mean,
well, actually, part of it's true because there is some sort of laws, but there's also a stipulation because in North Carolina, I used to drive barefooted a lot. Now, this is probably not safe. I had a little Mustang, and I would drive bare feet, and I sat like a monkey, and I was very flexible. So my left foot was always up near the window that was always open. And I'm driving with my other foot. I was always barefoot. But the stipulation is if you need to take your shoes off in order to help you stay awake or to become more alert, then it is okay. So you can drive barefoot, but you just have to let them know It's
Why?
hard.
I was like, no, you can't drive. You don't have any shoes on. And how many officers are even going to know, though?
Exactly, unless they tell you to get out and take a sobriety test.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to know? They're going to shine. I've never seen a cop shine their light to check my feet. Not that I've been stopped very much, but they might shine it in your face. But they're not looking down at your feet unless they're just weirdos that have a foot fetish or something.
Maybe that's something that I'm surprised that's not a lie. We were told that all police officers have foot fetishes. Okay, how about this one? I definitely heard this one. Don't cross your eyes or they'll stay that way.
I heard that one, and also if you keep making that face, your face will freeze like that, because apparently they had something that had happened that they were telling the story about how this has happened to other children. Because me and my brother would make faces at each other all the time, and it was like, your face is going to freeze that way. They were serious.
Yeah, that one doesn't even really make sense at all.
You get like lockjaw or something?
So if I smile a lot, suddenly I'm just not going to be able to stop smiling. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's
the
true.
Muscles lock up or something. Oh, I know everybody had jokes about how falling into quicksand was obviously much more overrated because we've never had to experience it. But my mother literally went over that with us. How to get out of quicksand. I mean, I knew we lived in some weird places, but I've never come across quicksand. But I could help you get out of it if you ever need help.
And my parents didn't do that. And actually, my parents never talked to me about quicksand, but television convinced me
that quicksand was
Princess Bride, but also it happened all the time on the Batman.
Oh, in the Westerns, they always had quicksand, too.
Where was all this it was not nearly the threat that I thought it was going to be.
I think maybe only in the jungle. I don't know.
And has anybody ever met anybody who fell in quicksand? I've never met anybody. I mean, there's I don't know. I mean, there's a tar pit in California. I guess the tar pit could be an issue, but what about sitting too close to the TV? I always heard that one.
Oh, that's definitely will make everybody go blind. And now everyone's got their phone right here.
Well, and I was reading about that because I was curious, and it does cause eye strain, but it actually does not affect your vision. It doesn't even impact getting a new prescription or whatever.
No, it'll just be like any kind of screen time. I mean, it'll make your eyes dry out and itchy and tired, but it's not going to make you lose your vision. And the whole thing about, if you eat carrots, you have really good eyesight. You would have to eat so much carrots, your skin would start turning green. Orange. That would be weird. I have this weird thing where I always call green orange and orange green. It's like the wires are crossed in my head.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Not to mention, if you ate that much A, that would be very damaging to your kidneys. You're not supposed to eat. You're not supposed to have high levels of vitamin A. So don't be eating a ton of carrots. Bad idea. You'll turn orange and damage your kidneys. It's no good.
Plus, I said the same thing about spinach, and then of course I got Popeye over there helping them with their lies. If you eat spinach, you'll grow up to be big and strong. That's a lie. I mean, spinach is good; it's got iron and stuff. But
and why did parents tell you to eat something because it'll put hair on your chest to any gender?
They always said that to every child. My dad used to say it would make hair grow out of my ears. I didn't want hair to grow out of my ears.
What? Why was this the encouragement we got? It was if you do this, you'll have a hairy chest. Great. Okay.
I guess that's supposed to make you tough.
That's true. Also, this was a weird one that I have heard people say, and it wasn't on any list, but it made me, that people would, I remember people saying that margarine was healthier than butter.
Oh, that was a horrible lie. Yeah.
And it's what on earth was that? And smoking wasn't dangerous.
Well, they had advertisements with the doctors talking to pregnant women women about this was a great brand of cigarettes.
Actually, I was doing trivia with my residents, and one of the questions was what, because it was, I put in for the 50s, so it was like 50s trivia, and what brand of cigarettes was most recommended by doctors?
Wasn't it menthol?
It was Camel, which is one of the worst.
Oh, that's what my dad used to smoke. He used to smoke unfiltered Camels.
Yes.
Which is why my lungs look like the moon.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the worst of the worst, but that was actually an ad campaign recommended by doctors. You guys have to have some of your own things that you were told, because there were a bunch.
What was that? And I believe this as an adult too, that when you die, your hair and your nails still grow. That's not true. They don't continue growing. Your body starts to dehydrate and you start to shrivel up. So it looks like your nails and your hair are growing more, but they're not still growing. You're just losing flesh.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a lie.
We'll have to, if people are interested, this is not necessarily a GenHex thing, but there is that whole Mercy Brown. Have you heard that story?
I don't think so.
Well, so it's a creepy, possibly alive story from, I have to look like the 1800s. But anyway, that might be a good Halloweeny type.
Oh, that sounds good.
But it's a true story of Mercy Brown. I think in Massachusetts, because all creepy, weird things happen in Massachusetts.
I've got another one. Let's see if you can guess what it is. Let's see if I can even still do it. I haven't done it in ages. Damn, I can't even do it anymore. I used to crack my knuckles. Oh, there goes one.
I don't crack anything because it queases me out.
I used to pop my knuckles. I could pop my thumbs and everything. And what was it they always said about why you shouldn't crack your knuckles? Do you remember?
Because you'll get arthritis.
Get arthritis. That is a lie. I mean, as a little kid, I would pop every single one.
And every teachers would tell you that.
Yes.
Stop doing that. You'll get arthritis.
You're gonna I mean, yeah, I got big knuckles, but that's not because I was cracking them. My kid cracks his knuckles too, and he's got little tiny knuckles. So
I don't.
Lie.
Yeah, it is a lie. Although I'm sure. Do you think it does wear down like the cartilage and stuff? I don't know.
I don't know, because all that is like little air bubbles basically in between the area, and all you're doing is pushing the air bubble out. So I mean, anything you do repetitively to any part of your body like that's gonna wear and tear, I'm sure. I doubt it's good for you, but it doesn't cause
it's not going to instantaneously cause arthritis at a certain age.
Oh, this was a big one. Did you ever hear this? It was kind of funny because in my mom's world, it was 1%. Then it was 2%. Now I hear it's 10%. We only use 10% of our brain.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one.
Not true. And you're either right-brained or left-brained. Also not true. We use the entire brain, but because some of us have skills in different areas, there is parts of the brain that are more activated more often. But we use the entire brain. So 1%, my mother used to say that.
Well, what was going on with the other 99%?
Apparently, and I used to think, well, man, I've got all this space in my brain. I can learn all kinds of stuff because it's just empty.
See? They were teaching us that we were empty-headed. Well, and have you noticed a lot of these lies, you would think the lie would be told to make their life easier.
Right.
Like, a lot of them really weren't. Like, what was the point of the gum? What was the point of, like, if your kid already has their driver's license, you're already fretting about what they're doing. I don't think the lack of shoes is going to be the, like, I don't know. It's just weird. You would think the lies would have been to benefit them.
I think the lies were to control people because it really was a matter of they didn't want you to do something, so they just made up a lie. Like, okay, there's another one. Like, if you shave, your hair will grow back really thick. So younger boys would always want to shave, so they would hurry up and get to grow facial hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie. Actually, it doesn't. And even women will think, oh, I shaved and the hair came back in thicker. It didn't come in thicker. It's just that when hair starts, when you've got your hair growing, the tip of it is tapered. And then when you shave, it's blunt. So when it grows out, it feels and looks thicker because the tip is blunt. It's not thicker. It's the same. And it doesn't make your hair grow faster either. That was a lie. And then taking a shower when it's storming out. The lightning's going to travel right through that water and just zap you. You ever hear that one?
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Although I will tell you really, because I saw it firsthand.
What's that?
But this would had to do, so at our cottage in Maine, which in Maine we call them a camp, but it's a cottage on it was in the woods. And we had a really old cast iron sink. And we actually had lightning strike the top of the camp. It came down and it zapped back and forth between the sink and we had a really old stove. So the metal, it was like, and it just did it like a couple times and then it dissipated, but we all saw it and that was pretty freaky. So I guess if you were taking a shower in a cast iron shower,
it would make sense. I mean, that might have some, something to it because back then everything was metal. Now you've got fiberglass, you've got plastic, you've got, what are all PVC pipes?
Yeah,
there's hardly anything that's metal.
Yeah. I wonder if that was something from like copper piping.
Might have been. That would make sense.
But and now, yeah.
And then them saying lightning never strikes in the same place twice. That's a lie. I watched this video. I've watched it so many times, and I feel kind of bad because I can't stop laughing at it. And I showed my kid, and we were just like laying on the floor laughing. It was so funny. I think it was like a security cam somewhere in England, like in London, and it was raining, starting to rain, and there was a jogger trying to jog through the park to get home. Lightning struck him. He falls down, and he's really dazed, lucky to be alive. He gets up and he's like rubbing his head like, oh my God. He gets up and he staggers a little bit. He starts to run again. It strikes him again. He falls down again. And then he finally gets back up and it strikes him a third time. And
how did he survive this? Oh my gosh.
It's just it's like someone is not going to let you get home. Just stay there, dude.
You just stay down.
He starts crawling.
You need to stay down at that point.
It's like, dude, just lay flat in the ditch. Have you never heard that? Just lay down. Because there were trees, but where he was running, he was the only upright thing there.
Right. Oh my gosh.
There's a sign for you, buddy.
That is a sign. I would start to wonder, okay, somebody up there has it out for me. Let's see what else. I mean, we have people. We want to hear what you were told, and not in the comments. Well, you can say them in the comments, but if you have a story of something crazy, please send. We'll make it work.
Email us something. Oh, there was one more that I remember. And they still tell kids this all the time, that bats are blind. Bats are not blind. They have poor eyesight and they use echolocation. But they are not blind. They can see you. This is why they rarely run into you. They can see you. They also use echolocation. But I worked in a cave with bats and done a lot of research on bats. They can see. So, yeah.
Well, and bats are super cool. So, how do we miss this one? This was a big one. And actually, this one I was never told by my parents, but I do remember people at school. This one was definitely a kid passed on. If you swallow a seed of any fruit, it grow in your stomach.
I was always warned about the watermelon.
Yes.
That was the big one.
Pardon me, I'm clearing my throat here. Here's the thing, too. Was it just me, or when we were growing up, There were not seedless watermelons. There was a
not.
ton of seeds in these watermelons, as in my recollection, which might be.
No, we always had to shoot out the seeds. We were always spitting watermelon seeds.
Yeah.
Easy to swallow one, so.
Yeah, and it again would do nothing. You would pass it. That would be it. Yeah, I don't know how that one would even hold on. Like who? But it was always one of those like a friend of a friend's cousin. It happened to them. It was always some like weird distant. Well, here's another one that is not on the list, but has driven me crazy forever. So, do you remember the movie? It was about the caller in the house with the baby.
Oh, where the call it was coming from inside.
Yes, have we talked about that?
Was that
When a Stranger Calls? That's what it was called. When a Stranger Calls. Okay, that even back when I was younger and hearing about it, and it was scary and whatever, because that was like the 70s, right? I think. How would the call come from inside the house? You had one landline. You couldn't call in the house. And what kind of rich people were these who had two separate lines in their house? Like, I remember sitting there thinking, how would the call come from inside the house? Like, now it could because we have cell phones. But
yeah, and a lot of people had two phones, but they were connected to one line, so you could pick it up and you could listen to what was going on. But it was the same.
Right. Like,
you couldn't make a phone call. You couldn't make it ring on the other phone.
Right. I'm like, how? This doesn't even make any sense. I don't understand. And the other thing that bothered me about that movie, and I'm way off track, but this has just bothered me, so I'm going to talk about it. It's our anniversary. I can talk about some stuff.
It's therapy.
What? It is. It's my therapy. It's my 10th anniversary therapy. But the police track the call and say, get out of the house. It's coming from inside the house. Except for if you listen to any true crime, it takes them forever to track. And especially in the 70s, how are they immediately tracking this call? None of this made any sense to me. This was a big fat lie. None of this happened.
They didn't have the technology back then. Plus, you had to be on the line for, I think, over a minute or something. And they had to be like, they had to have it connected and ready to start tracking it. It's not like they're like, oh,
yeah, we're tracking, right? Like, yeah. So, yeah, all you have to do is listen to any like ransom story from that time period, and it's like they're all sitting waiting. They have all the machines set up to like catch this call. Yet somehow in this movie, this killer is calling from inside the house. It just doesn't make any sense. It's always.
And how did they pull the phone records? I mean, it takes like 10 business days. Even now, for you to get legally to access phone records, it's like
that one has always bothered me. I'm like, that could not happen. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't know. So what weird lies were you told? I mean, I know there's more. I'm trying to think of ones that specifically my parents would have told me.
Some of them weren't even lies. They were just exaggerated, like the whole quicksand, need to know, and even stop, drop, and roll. How many of us went through school where the fire department people came and they had like whoever that dog was that used to talk to us. He was the one for the crime. It was Smokey Bear and everything, and they would talk about only you can prevent forest fires, but also talking about fire safety. Stop, drop, roll. Stop, drop, roll. How many people have ever had to do that? Now, I'm sure some have. Yes, of course. You're not going to go running if you're blazing on fire. But most of us have never had to stop, drop, and roll. If there's a fire, I'm going to get out. I'm not going to roll out.
That was really pitched hard.
That was huge.
In school. Yeah.
I mean, they made it sound like if you smell smoke, you better just fall to the floor and roll out of the house. It's like, I don't think that's the best, quickest way to get out. Could be wrong. But they also had us hiding under desks for the nuclear shit, and then covering our head and putting our head between our
Yeah, like that's gonna do anything.
for what was it? Was it? I'm trying to think because I've been in so many different states. Sometimes it was hurricane, sometimes it was earthquake. Why would hiding under the table? I don't know how any of that's going to save us. I don't know why we're going to be. Oh, tornado too. It's all the same. Nuclear tornado.
I don't think a desk is really going to stop a tornado.
They would make us run out into the hallway, sit down on that hard floor, and put our hands over our head and stick our head between our legs. It's like, okay, tornado.
That's just the teacher who's done for the day. They're like, here, let's do this.
The whole school is like, we're ready for the tornado.
I'm very curious because I'm sure there are people who heard like they were just the lies of their parents or the exaggerations of their parents. I'm trying to think. My mom and dad weren't. Well, my dad was convinced that my iced tea addiction was going to kill me for sure. Oh, and I definitely heard the caffeine's going to stunt your growth.
No, I heard that about coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was the caffeine in it, but it was coffee, definitely.
Maybe it did. I've been drinking coffee since I was like 3. Maybe it did stunt my growth.
Well, I've been drinking iced tea since I was really young, and I am the shortest in my family. Well, my mom was short too, but yeah, so maybe that was my problem with all my iced tea.
Well, I'm not shorter than my mom, but I'm the shortest.
Yeah, my brother's 6'4", and he does not drink coffee, so
my brother's only like 5'10", and he never drank coffee. I drank coffee all the time, but I only made it to 5'8". But my mom was like 5'4", like that. Dad was like 6'1", so he drank coffee all the time too. So
I don't know. I will say this is a sort of a weird inadvertent lie that is not really a lie. I don't really understand what it was, but my mom would let me drink coffee when I was little, but you had to have coffee in milk, a lot of milk and a lot of sugar. And she called it cowboy coffee, which doesn't make any sense because obviously cowboy coffee would be strong and black coffee.
That's not cowboy coffee. My dad made cowboy coffee because we lived like on the road, and that's not cowboy coffee. Cowboy coffee is when you got a campfire and you've got like a pot like you'd cook soup in, and you boil water and you throw the grounds in the water, and then you try to pour it where you don't get so much grounds in it. That's cowboy coffee. Yeah,
and actually, isn't that kind of Turkish coffee too?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross too, because you're spitting out you're spitting out the grounds like you're spitting out seeds. So
but yeah, I feel like that was a little bit of a lie that my mother told me. That was not cowboy coffee.
No, cowboys weren't really big on milk and sugar.
No,
but that is how I always drank it, and that's how my dad drank it too. But we were not cowboys.
I'm trying to think. There's got to be more. You must have some crazy ones though, just from the religious aspect of.
Trying to think of some. Well, with them, and that's the thing. There's so many superstitions, and there's so much in the way of wives' tales that it's kind of hard to tell. And then some of the wives' tales tend to have some actual facts to them. They're actually,
right.
I don't know. Half the stuff I believe is probably a lie. I just keep learning that my whole life was a lie.
I'm still curious how 7 years became the actual time to digest gum.
I wonder if maybe it started out as 7 hours or even 7 days. And then, how, when you play that game telephone and you whisper one thing and by the time it gets to the end, it's completely different. Maybe that's where, because every story has a grain of truth to it. So the 7 came from somewhere. I don't know how many hours it takes to digest gum, but I bet there's a 7 involved. And then they just kept exaggerating it like they did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, my dad was convinced that iced tea was going to give me ulcers.
Mm.
He would tell me that all the time.
Maybe if you drank it on an empty stomach all the time.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he was totally convinced. He would. And my dad, and to be fair, I have a few things happening now that now I get it. Because my dad used to flip out about me doing like homework or anything without not enough light. Like he would just be like, no, you got to turn on more lights. Now I'm realizing as I get older, I need more light, like when I'm working on something detailed or whatever. So I get where it's coming from now. He was having a hard time seeing, so he's going on the assumption that I am.
You know, I can't remember. I looked that up because obviously I'm having the same issue myself. And it's like, I wear reading glasses now, but I can't read hardly anything if the light's dim. As soon as I'm getting, you know, I'm like carrying bottles over to the window where there's daylight. I'm like, okay, now I can read it.
Yeah,
like it's so crazy. You never. My kids always like turn off the light, and I was like, I can't see what I'm doing. I mean, I can see, but I want to see clearly.
Right,
and I need the light brighter, and he can't understand why I want to turn on the light.
Well, and I also realized another thing that I do, which isn't really a lie, but it's just a weird thing that you remember your parents doing, and now I'm doing it, which is a little terrifying. Being in a like bad traffic situation and having to turn down the radio because I clearly can't focus and drive with the radio turned up. Like, wait.
When I would drive, if I was looking for an address, I have to turn the radio off.
Isn't that bizarre?
It's like I'm trying to think.
Stimulation, I guess.
It is. It really is. You're just, I guess when you get older, not that we're old, but when you get older, too much outside stimulation is really distracting for you to think clearly. I mean,
those old people, I feel bad for them.
I know it. Glad we're not old.
No, but you know what is old?
What?
Our podcast. It is 10 episodes old.
It is, and one of our viewers, Wanda, wanted us to tell everybody how the podcast came to be and how you and I first met.
Okay, so we're having a little... maybe we can add this as a segment. People can ask us questions to answer.
That would be a good idea. They could send us questions in an email, not in the comments. Email us your questions. What would you like us to tell you?
So what does Wanda want to know?
She wants to know, first of all, how we met. Do you remember? Do you remember where we met, Kathy? Do you remember there was a gondola? You remember I was trying to sleep. I had planned on getting in the gondola
did not.
because I was going to take a nap. And here comes... Do what?
The gondola had that big...
Well, the pole. Okay, it doesn't. Well, it was in the water. I didn't know. Okay, so I thought I could get in the gondola and take a nap because there was no one else around, and I was going to be by myself. And then here comes Kathy, and the guy's like, you know, just let that one lady come in there. It's a big gondola, and I'm like, fine. And then here comes Chatty Kathy.
I am Chatty Kathy.
I didn't get any rest. And
but we hit it off. We hit it off.
We did. And then we exchanged emails, and then I talked you into getting on TikTok. And you started making these really cool purple videos as the
very purple.
They were a lot of fun.
They were a lot of fun.
And then you were saying something about where you were from, that you were from Maine. And I'm like, hey, I'm from Vermont. And then you started talking about how you didn't know if you had any family in Vermont, but you had an aunt that had a diner in Whitehall, New York, right there on the border. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, I have an aunt that has a restaurant, a diner in Whitehall. Her name is Gladys.
And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That was the song. She was like my great aunt or something.
That's what she was, my great aunt too, but we just called her Aunt Gladys. And it was that funky silver diner that looked like a bullet.
So we could have met in the silver diner, is what ended up being the truth.
Well, exactly, because that was both of our aunts. So we're technically, well, it's both of our great aunts. So we're cousins
Like,
somehow.
like multiply removed.
Second cousins once removed.
Yeah, I don't understand how the removal works, but
know.
um
I mean, we do.
but the weird part is now that I've just discovered out that I've discovered that my cousin was probably Ted Bundy. So
exactly. Now you're related to Ted Bundy as well. You and I do resemble each other, and then we've got Ted Bundy.
And then we look just like Ted Bundy. So this is just too weird.
That's why we've got that same dry humor.
Well, and I did have a beetle.
See?
I had a beetle. It wasn't beige. It wasn't a tan or beige beetle. Mine was yellow.
What's this beige?
It was, yeah. I know, that's gross.
He had bad taste.
He did.
Who would want a beige car?
That's true.
Anyways, that's how we met, Wanda.
Yeah, that's how we met, Wanda.
In Venice, where I was on vacation by myself, trying to enjoy some peace and quiet. And then you got it.
You had fun. You had fun. It was good for you.
I was laying there slowly spitting into the water. As you were talking, it was nasty water.
It was nasty water. It was definitely nasty water.
Don't drink it. Don't swim in it. So yeah, and you want to tell them about the podcast, because this has been your dream baby.
So what was the second question?
She wanted to know how the podcast came to be.
Yes, I'm a podcast junkie. I listen to podcasts nonstop, and I thought, being a writer, I was like, oh, this would be really fun to be a storyteller and share stories on a podcast versus writing. I thought it would be really entertaining. And then I came up with the idea for GenHex, which, if I do say so myself, is pretty darn clever. And I was like, I love spooky stuff. I love weird stuff. And I was like, who else likes spooky stuff and weird stuff? That guy I met in a gondola.
Your cousin.
My cousin. And then I just mentioned it to Vin, and Vin's like, I'm on board. This sounds fun. Now, I will say the podcast in 10 episodes is already going off in a little bit different direction. I think we'll always bring it back to creepy, because inherently Gen X is a creepy generation. But I am seeing that we're getting a lot more into nostalgia and sort of the memories. I do think as we keep going, we will get more listener stories. We will get more spooky stuff. I'd like to keep it somewhat spooky, but you know what? Sometimes, I mean, it's a little bit spooky that our parents told us these lies that were actually fairly traumatic. Telling somebody that a watermelon seed is going to grow in their stomach is not like a happy moment, or that quicksand is inevitably going to swallow you whole. So we did live in fear of really weird things and the calls inside the house that couldn't happen. I mean, so many things to worry about. Wanda, thank you for that question. If you guys have more questions, we are happy to answer. And I know I keep saying we're going to have our book club and our lives, but that's something when we get moving and I'm not quite so overwhelmed at work. I don't know when this is going to happen because my job is a little overwhelming.
Kathy's narcoleptic and she just falls asleep but she once the work levels out a little bit, she won't be so narcoleptic.
And really, I think now there's a truth coming out to how we met, which was I was trying to nap in the gondola, and who showed up? Chatty Vin. Chatty Vin.
Well, I'm one of those people that I either have nothing to say, or I will not stop talking, or I will just talk to myself for hours. But then I'll go 2 days and not say anything. So,
yeah. I actually think that I'm a person who does not talk to myself at all, because I've noticed, like, on my days off, I do talk to my pets, but I have noticed that, like, my sister will call me on my day off and I'll always be like hoarse and have to clear my throat. And I realize it's because I haven't actually said anything yet that day. It's kind of weird because I am very chatty. I think I've shared this with you. I have a report card saved, third grade report card from Mrs. Adams, who said that Kathy is very neighborly wherever I move her. So
Mine just said
I was
that
being neighborly in Italy. Neighborly.
you're neighborly. My report card would just say easily distracted, draws on everything.
Which is interesting because I actually kind of had that too. I wrote my name on everything. I wrote my name all over my siblings' high school diplomas. If I found paper, I would just write my name all over it.
My teacher would hand out especially if it was math, because I don't do math, and she would hand out a math quiz, and I would do the ones that I knew, and I would just leave the rest of them. I never even tried, and then I would just draw on the entire margin, and then into the ones I left blank would have all those swirls and designs, so it looked good. Funny. And then I was like, maybe if I put enough swirls on the ones I don't know, she'll think it's the right number. And then I would make it look like it could be a 3 or it could be an 8. And just,
Smart.
And then I would get F.
I was going to say it, but then it was a 7.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, I was not a math girly at all. I did not like math. I still don't like math. Numbers give me anxiety.
They give me a headache.
Mm-hmm. But I do like storytelling, so that was why the podcast seemed like a natural fit. If you have any more questions.
Well, I was going to say, like you mentioned before, you and I were talking that sometimes it's not about something, like the Satanic Panic. And sometimes we do start on something and then we start remembering stuff. So the podcast also has something that a lot of the other ones don't, because we did live through that time. And it's interesting to see, the viewers, do you guys remember when that happened? Did you hear about it? Did you hear it on TV? How did your parents react? So we're reacting to our own experience of living through that time. It's not just something we read about, it's we actually
I think that's definitely a really cool twist to ours, because you're right now, I mean, predominantly podcasters are quite a bit younger than we are, and they didn't actually live through it, so they don't even understand the vibe of hitchhiking. Hitchhiking was a common thing. It was an accepted thing. I grew up knowing that my siblings hitchhiked and that my parents weren't overly, I don't think they thought it was a great idea, but they weren't. Now, when these younger podcasters, it's great to hear their point of view too, but they're like, hitchhiking? Why were these people doing this? It was just a thing. Yep, stick out your thumb and get in with a stranger. And so we lived through that. I remember I didn't really hitchhike because I was a big chicken, but I certainly had friends who hitchhiked even in the 80s. They were still, it was becoming less, but.
I never hitchhiked as a kid except with my parents, which sounds kind of weird because we always had a vehicle that was breaking down on the highway. So my dad would be telling me, look cute, stick your thumb out and do this. So I'd do sticking my thumb out and they'd always stop. My dad used me a lot, so that was cute.
That's funny. It's really interesting. It's really interesting that was just an accepted part of the culture, that it was not a big deal. Hence why our generation became the helicopter parents, because our parents were letting us do whatever, and then we were wait, this was all bad. This was bad. Now I have to watch my kids every minute, and I think that's equally bad. I think there has to be a happy medium. But hit us with some lies. Hit us with some lies that you were told. I'm fascinated to hear, and I wonder if there's regional lies. I was trying to think of what's a main lie, but I don't know. I have to think about that. I'll come back with that, because
See, that's the other thing that makes it kind of fun, because with you, I kind of look at the way you grew up as a normal home. You had what people would consider typical teenage or young kid experiences. And then my mom was a Jehovah's Witness, and we traveled all the time living in a car. So you got to experience the stability of what the community acted like. You know, you grew up with the same people. You got to hear the different, you know, rumors and the different way people reacted and stuff. And I was just observing different parts of the country and then seeing it through the lens of my mom as very religiously fanatical. So it's an interesting contrast.
You definitely had an interesting, I feel like I had a very, very dull life, but you know, you just brought something to mind. Just going to go right into next week's podcast. We missed one of the biggies.
Yep.
Which was Halloween candy and razor blades and needles and poison in Halloween candy.
Don't take candy from strangers.
Yeah, don't take candy from strangers. That's where that started. But interestingly, I do have one aside. Did you hear about the LSD on the like Cracker Jacks tattoos?
Oh yeah, they had me scared to death to accept stickers and stuff or tattoos because
anything that you were going to put on your skin was going to be LSD.
And plus they were like, don't lick it. And I'm just thinking, I've never licked my fake tattoo or stickers. I don't go around licking stickers. Why would I feel the need to lick a sticker? But they were like, you couldn't even touch it. If you touch it, it soaks into your skin and you're going to start like seeing giant monsters and stuff. And so, yeah, I couldn't even accept stickers anymore.
Yeah, that one was a definite. We heard a lot of that. And that was more, I think that was more of a kid for us. It was more of a kid rumor, like, ooh, you know, like, but the Halloween candy absolutely became a huge thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was definitely a lie that we were told. Except for one case, one very bad case. Most of the rumors about Halloween candy were really overblown. Even though hospitals and stuff would X-ray candy, there really wasn't razor blades, and it was not strangers. So next week, we're going to tell you a true story about actual poison Halloween candy. But it was not stranger danger. It was not a stranger. And we will fill you in next week on the pixie stick murder.
The original Candyman.
Yeah.
The man that ruined Halloween.
That is this week's Our Lies and why we are the messed up adults that we are. Look that's messed up. That's all messed up.
This is a lie. This is a lie.
That is a lie. That is a straight up lie. It's so not normal.
The family show, Kathy.
Hey, I didn't bring the banana. I brought balloons. Look at this. Look, balloons.
I had an inflatable banana, but it fell on the floor
and I do have this psychedelic. Can you see it?
But that is really cool. I like that.
Actually, this was just given to me at work.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, it's got daisies on it.
It's got daisies and it's got spinning glitter inside. So that's aluminum. That could be aluminum. Look, I didn't fail you.
You got me a gift. Yay.
Aluminum mushrooms. All right, folks. You know what? I'm
making you a rose, Kathy. Trying to make you a flower.
Thank you. Look at that.
Smell it.
Oh, it smells like.
Doesn't it smell good? There, it even has.
That is very nice. I don't think aluminum. I've never thought to myself, boy, I love the smell of aluminum. Thank you for celebrating with us. See you next week when you find out about the real Candyman. Bye.